Hello, I'm Marsha Baker, and welcome to another edition of Sketchnote Summer Camp. So we here at Sketchnote Boss are having a great time at summer camp. And last week we just did the tree house where we drew a tree somewhere, tree house somewhere where we can be calm and just have some solitude and some peace. And so to follow that up, I thought it is time. We're going to start easing back into school and really focusing on sketchnoting and sermon sketchnoting. So I thought, let's just do a very quick sketch note. So I found this awesome 13-minute little sermon from Franis Chan. So Franis Chan, a very popular pastor, and he wrote, Crazy Love, that's what he wrote, and several other books. And he has just recently moved to Hong Kong. I think he's from Hong Kong, so he's moved back there. And so I found this 13-minute video, and I just thought, our sermon, so I thought it would be simple. So I just wanted to talk about the anatomy of a sketch note and just to kind of show you how I set this up before I actually did it. So, and just to kind of show you how it all flows. And then I'm going to post the link, and I hope that you will try it. Anyway, so let's just start. So first of all, the title is Be Still and Know That I Am God. So I used very basic, my pen. First of all, I will demonstrate. Let's just talk about the whole thing first. So I've got the title going, the psalm that he's talking about, and then where the information came from. So this is Franis Chan on YouTube that he actually recorded on April 7th of this year. And then you can see that I have, so the whole part about sketchnoting is to when your eye looks at it, it can see very distinct areas so it knows where to flow. And so you can see that I've got flowing. So basically my, so I guess it's a backwards S. Maybe that would be a Z, okay, something like a Z. So if we go this way, and then you can see I've got some distinct areas. So I've got blocks, right? So you can see we're going from area to area to area. So I went from this way, down, this way, and then back, right? Because this is the orientation of your book. If I was going to do if I was just sitting down to do it in my book, I would probably do it this way. I would do the same Z, but I may end up having like another row, the way this works. So this is what made sense to me. It might not make sense to you, or you don't need as many boxes, or maybe you need more. It's really what are the things that he's speaking on that are speaking to you, and that's what's most important. So to start with, I always tend to, of course, yes, always be prepared when you do a video, and do like here we do, have a pencil. I try, when I sit down, I try and think of, okay, so I'm going to have, you guys have this bonus challenge word here, bonus challenge, right? So, and then I wanted to put his information there, and then the title there. So, and again, see, I'm putting them in pencil, so I'm not committed, right? So I can go any direction that I need to go. So, but I'm starting here, right? And I'm just going to draw several boxes, and then I'm going to just use arrows, right? And maybe we'll just do a whole session on arrows, different types of arrows, because I think different types of arrows kind of help you communicate. You know, you can go here or here, you can do directional things. So I'm just going to draw some boxes just to kind of keep me going like that, right? So, and then they're all in pencil, and I can erase them, and I am not committed. So if it makes sense that, oh my gosh, this whole thing took up 3 boxes, that's okay. Or, oh, I only used a half a box. Well, then you can start the next piece of information. But when you separate your information into boxes or bubbles, it helps your brain organize this, right? And if you're doing this, especially while you're sketchnoting, it's just going to stick in your brain a lot better, longer, and the visual part helps it be deeper, which is for longer retention and faster recall. So there's a lot of science that says sketchnoting and any note-taking an activity is just a really, really good thing to do. So there we go. So there's that. So now let's talk about some specific things. So now I will talk about the be still. So the first thing I did was and you can use a ruler, but I'd encourage you not to, because this is not a precise art, right? But if you feel like you write uphill, some of us do, I tend to just draw kind of a line, a straight line. But you can always see my E is a little higher, which is okay. We can fix that. So we can always come down and make my E thicker, right? And then we can color it in. And then see, I'm just doing a very basic block letter, right? And again, the more you practice, the more muscle memory you have, right? And then I'm going to come in, because it'll take forever to color, but this brush pen by Tombro. It's not one of the big dual brushes, which of course they're all. Oh, here's a Tombow dual brush. It's got the big brush on one end and then a little point on the other, a little marker on the other. So these are awesome. They are not waterproof though, so don't find that out the hard way. So this is gray, so I'm not going to use it, but you can also use these as well. These would be great pens. But so I'm going to use this Tombro pen, and again, I'll put the link in there. But you can see then I can come back and make my letters thicker, and then you will never know that I messed up with the E and didn't have it on the line, because I can just make it thick, right? And then I can come back and draw. All right, and you can see that on my sermon notes, I decided to just write, and I think that the more you practice with your handwriting, and let me just show you how to take your handwriting and kind of make it like faux calligraphy, fake calligraphy. I just think you should embrace your handwriting, and you can do that by making things thicker. So we tend to make things thicker on the downstroke and thinner going across, and then we can exaggerate things, like so I could make this L, you could just kind of look at various conventions. So I could offset my L's just as something fun to do. All right, and then I wrote and no, and I write, so I'm leaving a little room between my letters so I can go back, and then so this is not neat by any means. And then I decided to, well, I missed that spacing, right? See? Sometimes you got to do it again. But I am, right? And then I decided I'm going to come over here. All right, so I am no professional calligrapher, right? There are a lot of people out there that can show you lettering skills. And again, the difference between them and me is they have been practicing, practicing, practicing. I just remember watching one video, and unfortunately I don't remember who it was, but she said she did it for like 30 minutes a day for 2 years. So that's a lot of time commitment. So, these people are just not like, oh, I'm just gonna, they do it because they've practiced. So again, this is just, if you want to have a great skill, it's going to require practice. It doesn't really matter what it is, whether it's drawing or running. You're going to run a marathon. So, all right, so here's fake calligraphy. So on the down side, I'm going to make them all thick. All right, going to make them thick on one end, right? Coming over here, making that thick, making the H down thick, make it thicker on that side, and then I'm going to come back and connect the letters. I think those are, there we go. Not perfect, but again, this is for our own benefit. We're not publishing, we're not entering in an art contest, right? So things that you might want to know how to draw in this is a treadmill. So treadmill's very simple. So let's draw a treadmill. So we have, so this simple long elongated needle. So because treadmills, right, they're on an incline, right? So there's that. And then I'm going to draw two straight lines like that. And then I'm going to draw the monitor. So that's an L kind of at an angle. And there's the monitor, and then here's my little guy running. So I'm going to make him a little bit taller than I made my guy. So I start with the head, and then I'm going to draw a box, and then his legs comes out like this, and his arm is back like that, and then this arm is like that. We can put a face on him, right? And actually, if I was going to redraw that leg, I think maybe I'd do something like that. Kind of show him more running, because he looks more like he's doing the squats. So anyway, again, it's about practice, right? And then the other thing, because I think he talks about going and having a deep relationship, so I thought an anchor made sense to me, kind of doing a water thing. And so an anchor is simply, we start with a circle. Maybe you'd like to see what I'm drawing there. Start with a circle, and then I draw another circle around it. Okay? And then I'm going to draw in pencil a line straight down and a line across. And then that way I can get my proportions correct. So I'm going to come down, and then I'm going to come up, and then I'm going to make an arrow. Okay, then I'm going to come down on this side and do the same thing. I'm going to come and make an arrow using my line as part of the arrow. I'm going to come back and meet, and voila, I now have an anchor. And so and we're going to draw a line all the way up to the boat, right? It's just simply two half circles, a line, and a triangle, and there's our boat, and it's dropping the anchor. And you'll see that I went up and down to show that remember we talked about stopped and start lines, so we have a line, and this is stopping this line, so that implies that the line is going into the boat. All right, and then hearts are easy. I think he talks about vapors, and I just thought vapors are just simply just little squiggly lines like you see coming up from coffee and warm things. And then he talks about just how much he loves you, and I just thought, for me, this guy always keeps his promises, so I just thought maybe kind of doodling a fun rainbow works, but if you have something else you'd like to do, that's fine. And then I wrote big block letters, choose him. So and again, I have practiced many times, and so again, I'm not perfect. There's a lot of people out there that are serious about this, but so what I'm doing, again, I have just eyeballed this in, right? I didn't measure. So I have a top line and a bottom line, and that makes sure that I'm going to come up. I'm going to start my C, come up, and then fill it in. And then my H, I'm going to come down. And then if I wanted to have a more fun with my H, I could go above the line, right? Just to make it more interesting. And there's the O. And you could fill in the O with a heart or a circle, anything, right? So there's that. All right, so the S's. Okay, I've always wanted to start the S like here, but it's better when you start the S. Start the S here and come down, right? And then you can create the thickness. But when you start the S here, then you're not cutting yourself off and making this come to a point if you want a nice thick S. So always start it at this point right here. I have learned that the hard way many times. And the E is pretty simple. All right. And again, if this is easier to draw, to just write in pencil the letters and then go back around it like this as your guide, and then you can go back and erase those. That totally works. That's another way to draw until you get comfortable doing it on your own. So I'm just going to come around and I'm just going to kind of outline my letters on both sides, right? And then that way I have choose him. All right, I can't wait to see your sketch note. I'm going to do a whole lot more tutorials on how to do sketchnoting, whether it's be sermon sketchnoting or sketchnoting for meetings and such. But you know, if you don't get in there, if you don't start, you're never going to get better. So practice makes better. So if you have any questions, reach out. And again, if you find yourself like you need another page, I think there's a blank page on page 27. You could flip over there and use that. I think the back, or you could, I don't know what's on the back. Anyway, I remember I messed up mine, which is why mine's on a blank sheet of paper. But anyway, so you can always add another piece of paper to your book before you bind it. You've got a lot of choices. And, you know, remember, we're not here for art. We are just here to use our skills to grow closer to the Lord. So thanks for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next video. And again, if you haven't subscribed on YouTube, that would be a blessing. Or if you haven't signed up for the email newsletter, that would also be a blessing. And please tell a friend, and I'll see you in the next video.